You're gonna do a good job for us. All right.
Yes, sir.
Chico,
right,
how you
for sure.
doing, man?
On the-
Jason, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. How's everything?
Good. Good. Just waiting. Just waiting my
Well,
time.
man, we are looking forward to you coming down there, brother. You want to come in here and make a lot of plays for us, man. We got to get you with these guys. You're gonna do a good job. Jason, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, man. How's everything?
Good. Just waiting. Just waiting my
Well,
time.
man, we are looking forward to you coming down there, brother. You want to come in here and make a lot of plays for us, man. We got to get you with these guys. You're gonna do a good job for us. All right.
Yes, sir.
Chico,
right,
how you
for sure.
doing, man?
I'm doing good, Coach. How about you?
Man, I'm good, man. Much better now since we getting a chance to get you, man. Get you up here.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm
That's
glad for this
the question.
opportunity.
No
I'm
doubt,
doing
brother.
great now.
I'm
doing great.
Oh, you're doing great now. Malachi, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, Coach.
Man, I heard a lot about you from Brian Branch, man. And dude, I'm so excited to have you over here, man. I expect you to be a dog, more of a dog than he is, right? That's the word he told me. That's the word he said. All right,
Yeah,
so
you're
man,
right.
I want to fill this team with dogs like you, brother. All right,
Yes, sir. Yes,
man, I'm excited to have you, man. All right,
Yes,
looking
sir.
forward to seeing you down there, brother. Okay. Listen, everything we saw about you, man, you in somebody's face, man. So we want you to bring that here, all right? Go up there, impress them, and choke them out. All right, that's your specialty. All right, yeah,
Yes, sir.
you know that, my man.
Yes, sir.
All right, looking
Yes,
forward to
sir.
seeing you, brother. All right, just like we talked about, just be mean, nasty, and go be a. Go
Hell
do
yeah.
that.
I'm
You hear
already
me?
knowing, Coach. Yes, sir.
My man, proud, man, happy. Can't wait to see you. All right, brother.
Yes, sir.
How's it going, New York Knicks? Oh, see, I messed up. I messed up because it's basketball time. Psych. How you doing, New York Jets fans? Jets. Jets. It's time to talk some Jets football. This is an exciting time for the New York Jets. Hey guys, feel free to smash that like or dislike button as long as you're active, and hey, feel free to express your opinions. Just be respectful to everybody, but I do want to hear from everybody, and as far as the chat, and share it to everybody. Share it to all the New York Jets fans. Okay, let's get into this. Welcome to Pro Football Front Office. This is the second show. I know yesterday we talked about the first pick, which is the Las Vegas Raiders, and now we get into the New York Jets. So, man, the big city. First of all, before I start, you guys look at the live chat. Look at the live chat and feel, hey, here's your chance to express yourself. Let me know what you think. What would you do at the number 2 pick? Where you think the Jets should go? And I will be looking in. I'll be in and out looking at your comments. So just bear with me. And yeah, let's go. Let's talk about it. So this is New York Jets full front office breakdown. Is the number 2 pick strategy, and we're gonna get into the 2026 free agency for the New York Jets. Okay, right now, we're looking at Darren. I'm not gonna pronounce his last name because I might mess it up, but I'm gonna just say Darren M. We're gonna see what his vision is as far as an owner. And Aaron Glenn's identity. What do you guys think? How did Aaron Glenn do? I mean, we all knew it was going to be a tough year, but do you like the template? Do you like what he has as far as a foundation, or do you think he need to work on a few things? So, like I said, the Jets fans, let me know. Feel free to express yourselves, and that's what we're going to get into. So, give me 1 second. And I said, Darren M, that's the GM. Mougey, that's the GM, that's the general manager. Excuse me for that. The owner is Woody Johnson. So yeah, that's what we're going to get into right now. Let me open up the page for you guys so you guys can see. Okay, so if I would have read this from the beginning, then I wouldn't have messed up. So, okay, I'm Maurice. How you guys doing? This is a Google look at what's going on with the Jets, and you have Woody Johnson, who's the chairman and CEO. Alongside with Darren Mougey, who's the GM, and then Aaron Glenn, who was hired last season. At the beginning of last season, he went 3-14 as a head coach for his first season with the Jets. That is the head coach. Okay, so the team announced a new structure in 2025, as we were talking about, where both the GM and the head coach report directly to Woody Johnson. So what do you guys take on Woody Johnson as an owner? The Jets fans, I'd like to hear from you. Do you think that he's doing a good job? If not, where you think that he needs to improve himself as far as organization? I would like to know. So let's move ahead. And now let's talk about before I go to the next topic, just looking at the New York Jets, I believe they have like a fresh leadership reset. They're really trying to reset things. That's just based on what I've seen, based on the quarterback selection. And, here lately, the teams are seeming to they're looking for that bridge quarterback, to buy them time to find their franchise quarterback. And like I said, you guys, the Jets fans, know more than I do. So you guys make sure you comment below and leave your comments in the live chat. Feel free to be on the live chat and express yourself. We're gonna go over the free agency, then we're gonna talk about the mock draft or the NFL draft coming up. And I'm gonna show you guys what I'm gonna do. And I'm looking forward to New York. I know New York is gonna be a little tough. The New York Jets fans, so yeah, let it rip. If you see something where I'm going wrong and going in the wrong direction, express yourself on the chat and let me know. So let's talk about the front office identity. Let's get into that based on what I've seen in the moves. So yeah, I was talking about it earlier. The quarterback, just by them, I guess signing Geno Smith at quarterback, that lets you know that they're trying to bridge a gap, and they're really, I guess, looking for maybe this year, next year, maybe it's the middle round of this year, maybe it's the first round next year. Teams try to buy some time for them to actually, for this staff too. You got to think about this staff, because it could be hopefully for Aaron Glenn's sake, it won't be a new staff. So, I like the guy, I know he did a decent job. He did a pretty good job for the Detroit Lions as a defensive coordinator, but time is ticking on any NFL head coach. So, the staff, the GM and all of them, they're really trying to search for that franchise quarterback. So let's talk about the rebuild, the defensive rebuild. It seemed like they're, making a few moves really before the season last year. And they probably have a little bit more tweaking before they really start focusing on the offense. So what you'll see more free agents on the offense side of the ball, like guards, quarterbacks, might say wide receiver, that way, you have time to pick some of your own guys out of the draft. And that's what you just call bridging, like we talked about. So right here, the free agency, let's get into that real quick. It's going to be real quick, man, real quick. So let's talk about the free agency. And we're going to look at the gains and the losses as far as the free agents, as far as the Jets free agents. Let me try to minimize this so everybody can see. There you go. Okay, so the Jets in 2026, this is, of course, AI, the Google. Everybody can Google it. I just kind of go over it and give my take on it. Say it's characterized by an aggressive overhaul of focus on, mainly focus on defense. That's what I was saying before. A bridge quarterback, see that a lot. Even the Las Vegas Raiders, I know this is not about them, but that's what they did. They got Kirk Cousins. So that's what you do. You try to find that bridge quarterback and treat your quarterbacks that you're drafting, or if they're younger, if they're picking them up, as an undrafted free agent or something, you just try to get, buy them time like a redshirt freshman in college. You want them learning it's mainly a mental part of the game. They know that they can play. That's why they have them there. So you got to think about the mental part. So that's what a lot of people who don't know football, you just can't come in and play. Some people can do that, but it don't happen a lot. So let's look at the cap space. It says $37 million. And they added Minkah Fitzpatrick, Geno Smith was a quarterback, of course, and then DeMario Davis. I've seen my fair share of him, a lot of him playing for the Saints, I believe. I believe that's the guy who played for the Saints, a linebacker. He's pretty good. He's a pretty good linebacker, and it makes sense because that's what your head coach, the Jets head coach, is a defensive-minded person. And he is a leader on the field, and also he can run. He's sideline to sideline. He's pretty fast. So the key gains, they say include trading the safety Fitzpatrick and quarterback Smith. It says while losing defensive end Jermaine Johnson, that's a big blow, and a potential departure of 2025 starters. So it's saying they lost a lot of starters. So what that tells me is they're going to be really active in the draft, and that's why they have a lot of picks. So let's just go down the list real quick. I'm not going to take too long and just kind of go over the these are the gains. So quarterback, like I said, Geno Smith, safety Fitzpatrick, DeMario Davis, a linebacker who signed a 2-year, $22 million. David Ayamada, I live in Atlanta. I'm used to seeing, David Ayamada, especially when he played for the Saints. And then now coming from the Falcons, I had a chance to see him. I still think he has a lot to offer. So I feel like that's going to be a pretty good trade, or not sign a trade, but signing, excuse me. So 1 year, of course, his age. So, a lot of teams not going to pay you 2 or 3 or multiple years. They're going to, here's another example on defense. Is a bridge player. They feel like they probably don't have that guy yet. And so David Ayamada's coming in mainly to be a bridge. And bridge is also teaching and kind of educating some of the younger players. And a lot of people will see it as, well, why would I want to tell a younger player what to do or show him and then they take my position? But, going in, the players know that. They know that it's an opportunity. And you never know, some of these players could be coaches in the future. So what happens, it helps them. It helps them kind of, play the role as a leader and a coach, but then yet they're still kind of playing. So it's like an active coach. You have Devondre Sweat, defensive tackle. He's coming from a trade from the Titans. So that's a good pickup. So you see 2 defensive interior guys. So the Jets are really trying to beef up their defense. You know, like I said, that's really their primary goal. That's what I said earlier. You know, whenever you have a defensive coach, it's not a good look not to have a great defense. So you guys best believe he's gonna get the players that he want on defense first, and he's gonna you know, when I say he, I mean the head coach, Aaron Glenn, he's gonna make sure that defense is tight to where it now offense will be probably the overlook of next year. Going into next year, you probably want to get your franchise quarterback too. And that's why you signed Geno Smith. Offensive guard Dylan Parham, you know, he signed a 2-year, $16 million. Brees Hall, you know, he is re-signing. Great running back. They didn't want him to leave. You know, after signing the franchise tag, they pretty much are re-signing them now for approximately like $14.3 million. And then you have Dane Belton, a safety, 1 year, and Cade York, a kicker. So now let's go into the losses. So the losses, the free agents that they lost, or, you know, that departed from the New York Jets were, of course, we just said it earlier, defensive end Jermaine Johnson. You have Justin Fields, you know, who I think would be I feel like he'll be a solid backup for somebody. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go to Atlanta, you know, on if it's a cheaper deal. You know, that just, you know, if he feel like he can take that spot. But I'm just throwing that out there. But anyway, tight end Julian Hill signed with the Patriots. The linebacker KJ Britt, he signed with the Patriots as well. So you have two guys, you know, which makes sense. The Patriots in the division, they went to the Super Bowl. They were 14-3, and now they're used to playing some of the Jets players, and of course they like these guys. So hey, they're going to sign them, and they want to win. These guys want to win, so it makes sense that they sign with the, I guess, the rival. You'll see that a lot, and also to kind of stick it to the Jets, you know. So that's just the way it works. Sometimes some of the players be kind of salty about not being re-signed, and then they'll go to the rival team. So that's just a little insight, just so people will know. You have cornerback or defensive back Kendall Vildor, who signed also for the Patriots. So you got 3 players. So there you go. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So, you know, pretty much what they said, the team outlook, the Jets aim to boost their 29th ranked run defense. And I'll pause right there. You can't have that as a defensive coach, as a defensive head coach. But that's not talking about him saying it's just that's not a good look. So, but coaches typically would have 3 years to show improvement. But now things are changing. So out of respect to Aaron Glenn, you got to give him time. So the 29th ranked run defense, that's why they got Ayamada from the Falcons, and they got another defensive tackle. So like they said, Ayamada and Sweat, that makes a big difference having those veterans in the interior on the defensive line. And then now roughly $337 million in cap space to continue to build, you know. So their strategy to address the long-term quarterback, this is what Google's saying, the position later rather than overspending immediately. And that's just I guess that's their take on how the Jets are approaching it, meaning the owner, Woody Johnson, and Darren Mougey, the GM. Okay, so we all see they're attacking the defense. They're attacking with, you know, big signings on the defense, a bridge quarterback, just to kind of help them make it to next year. And also, hopefully, they can win with the process of having a veteran quarterback who might not be the top-notch quarterback, but if you have a great defense, we all see Seattle Seahawks. That's how you win football games. So everybody's going, you know, the way NFL or college or football work is really a copycat league. Somebody sees somebody win, then they want to take the template and then they want to do it kind of like they want to do it their way. You know, you might do a little spin, a different spin here and there, a different take. But overall, the key philosophy is the defense first. They see the Seattle have the defense, and then they got a quarterback. They signed a veteran. That's what you see all the teams are doing. And then now you got to, here's where your front office got to know what direction they're going into as far as their draft and what draft players are high on the list. That's where you win. So you can copy all you want to, but then you got to make sure Jets got to make sure they find the right talent as far as out of the draft pool. And those guys, they need to be there and they need to stay and go through the system. Because if you miss a lot of draft picks, then that's what sets you back. So now let's take a look at the let me see, before I go on, I'm going to start doing the mock draft now. I'm going to go into that, but 1 second. So I want to cover the questions that the Jets fans should be asking. Who's the quarterback for the future? And who's the best player available out this draft? As far as, you know, just especially your first pick. And will it make sense to pick that player? So in my opinion, they don't need to force a quarterback. I wouldn't do that because they have Geno Smith. And he played for the Jets, so he's it's like he's going home, and so he's familiar with the city, just I guess the media. So yeah, I mean, and also he knows where he needs to stay. So all those things go into play. You know, his family probably is okay with that, with the signing. Also, you can't miss. Like I said, you can't miss on these draft picks, especially when you're really at the bottom. You have to pick, you have to really pick and select, and you have to hit on the majority of all. You probably can miss one, but really and truly, you don't have any room to miss one pick. So let's talk about the draft. Let's talk about the draft. So let me pull that up right quick. So who would I go with as far as my first pick? Who would I go with? I'm gonna type it in, and I type in the you guys gonna see me typing on the round. I'm gonna say round 1 and pick 2, and I'm just gonna keep going down. And I'm gonna put it in Google so you guys can see who the person looked like, and that'll help me too because I get to just kind of read some of the information because I don't have a computer brain now, so I need a little help with the notes and the Google tape. So, so the first pick, the first round, and the second pick, which is the Jets' first pick. Here's my mock. I feel like the Jets will pick. They're gonna go with Arvell Reese, and from Ohio State. He's from Ohio State. There's a linebacker. I'm a fan of big linebackers that can run. And, you know, a lot of people will go many directions with this. Of course, if the quarterback is going first, Mendoza, then, you know, that's where things are kind of up in the air. You can kind of go in a lot of directions. But I like what Ohio State has to offer as far as wide receivers, defense. I feel like, you know, like their coach said, hey, if you're not going to be in the first and second round, don't come to Ohio State. Now, a lot of Michigan fans probably don't want to hear that, but I have to admit, right now, you know, currently these past 3 or 4 years, Ohio State has been top notch as far as the players coming out and being NFL ready. So I'm picking Arvell. You're going to hear some background noise. I'm picking Arvell Reese. So excuse me on the background noise, guys. Can't help that. So he's 20 years old. He is I want to say he's out of Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio. As a matter of fact, he was number 8, and he's, like I said, 6'4", 243. And I feel like you can't go wrong with Orville Reese. So that's the first pick. Let me make sure I put that in here. Oh, you got my PNC 3X. Okay, there you go. He did a great job with the Raiders last was that yesterday. So now I don't see too many Jets fans, but they don't supposed to be here. People are working, so I get that. So let's go right here and make sure I put this in. Hold on 1 second, guys. I have to have it organized before I move on. And this is live, so I mean, when we do a live show, there's going to be a lot of things that are interrupted, and you have some of your unknowns, so they just got to be prepared for that. So yeah, again, the Jets, round 1, pick 2. I'm selecting Orville Reese from Ohio State, a linebacker out of Ohio State, and he's from Cleveland, Ohio. And I feel like this is one of the best linebackers to pick. So that's where I'm going. Okay, now let's go to the next pick. So like I said, the Jets are going to be busy because they got a lot of picks. They did a great job. The Raiders did a great job just looking at their draft pool. Now the Jets, we're talking about the Jets. This is the mock draft for the New York Jets. And now they have another pick in the first round. So they have pick 2. They have the 2nd pick overall and the 16th pick overall. So now the 16th pick overall for the Jets. Let me type it in, make you guys wait in suspense. Is Jordan Tyson from Arizona State. Jordan Tyson, I have to go to ESPN because his bio is not on there on Google. So we'll look at it from ESPN. So his measurables, this is a wide receiver. I feel like Geno took a lot of abuse. I mean, he took a lot of hits last year with the Raiders. And Geno Smith would definitely probably be the starting quarterback. And I feel like he would be great with a great defense. So what better way is to, you got to give him a wide receiver. You got to give him some weapons to throw to. Also you got to find some protection for him. But I feel like the Jets had pretty decent protection. I don't think the Jets offensive line is bad. It's more the quarterback play and the consistency and the mesh with the offensive coordinator. So I feel like you got to get some young talent on the outside. So Jordan Tyson, 6'2", 200 pounds, 6'2", that's tall. That's a tall weapon, an easy target to throw to. And he's from Allen, Texas, but he played for Arizona State, the Sun Devils. So what do you guys think about that? That would be, I didn't put my pick up there. That is the 16th pick overall in the first round for the Jets. So they have 2 picks. So I'm going with Orville Reese, linebacker, pick 2, and Jordan Tyson. I'm going with him at pick 16. Okay, now let's go to round 2. Somebody said these are poor players going to the Jets. My opinion is being mean to the Jets, man. They're not going to like that. Okay. Let's get that off the screen. Like I said, guys, I have to have my bulletin up first. I like to make it dramatic. Okay, so this is round 2. This is pick 33 overall. So, like I said, the Jets you guys in great shape. man, I mean, besides the Raiders, I mean, of course, 1 and 2, you know. So now, who am I going to pick? Who will I pick for round 2, pick 33 for the New York Jets? I'm going with Caden McDonald. And who is that? Caden McDonald, big guy, big interior. And I'm a defensive line guy, you know, by heart, you know, as a coach. So, hey, I like this. And also, guess where I'm from? I'm from Georgia, and he's from North Gwinnett High School. Guys, I don't mean to brag, but you're going to see a lot of players coming out of Georgia. And I told the Raiders this yesterday. The reason is you have so many former athletes or former whatever NBA players, NFL players. They come and they actually live here in the you know, in the city, in Atlanta, in the metropolitan area, you know, nearby, you know, around the area of Atlanta. And North Gwinnett has a great high school program. And anybody's coming from North Gwinnett or any place from Gwinnett, they're going to be solid. Like far as coachable, they're going to be tight on their techniques. They're going to be technicians on the field, and that's just what happens. I feel like you know you can say that Georgia's not the best as far as overall players and athleticism, but they're the best as far as a complete football player and their awareness, the IQ. This is my opinion, and that comes from a lot of coaches all over coming to Georgia, you know, to coach high school. So I mean, it's very competitive. And so yeah, I think Caden McDonald would be a great pick at you know at pick 33 or the 33 overall pick for the Jets, which is in the second round. So, and he comes from Ohio State. There you go. So he's 21 years old. Ohio State's not playing, guys. I'm telling you right now. I mean, all their players are. I mean, like the coach said this. You guys can look it up. At Ohio State, he said, if you're not first or second round, then don't. Then you probably might need to think twice about coming to Ohio State. So I mean, their scouting department, they're doing a great job. So so yeah, that's Caden McDonald. Caden McDonald. So he's a big guy, and remember what were their pour in? Do you guys remember? What stat on defense were they really lacking? That was the defensive their run defense. So anytime you get a 6'2" guy, almost 330 pounds from Ohio State, then you can sure that up pretty good. So that's why I would go with that pick. Now, here's where I'm going to give you guys a hint. Here's where I would look for a quarterback. In the second round, I wouldn't waste the first round on a quarterback. I wouldn't reach. Like I said, you have Geno, you don't have to reach. So now let me show you guys who I'm already giving you the position. So round 2, pick 44. Who am I going with for the Jets? Who should the Jets select? Well, it's in the SEC. I'll give you guys that much of a hint. I'll give you guys a hint. It's in the SEC, and I'm going with Garrett Nussmeier out of LSU. So, you know, a quarterback that came out of LSU. I'm not saying that he's going to be like this guy, but you all know the Cincinnati Bengals quarterback, Barrow. So that's where school he came from. He came from the LSU Tigers. But I don't think he's going to be like Barrow as far as just that elite. But I feel like you can get some of that. That's why I'm picking second round. So, you know, he's not too far off. I feel like he needs the right philosophy to go to as well, the offensive coordinator. And, you know, once he's hot, he's a type, once he's hot, he's great. And this is what makes him different from Barrow. Barrow really don't care. He'll throw an interception and he'll throw a touchdown. You know, Nussmeier seems to kind of get in his head a little bit. That's one thing I would say. But I feel like that could be Fitz. So I feel like that this will be a great pick. I believe you're getting a lot of value right here for and a lot of people will say no. Some people will say it's a third round. So let me take that back. You're not getting a lot of value, probably. I would say probably third round would be a great value pick, but here's where you kind of gotta. I kind of contradict myself. I'm reaching a little bit in the second round. So I mean, in the first round I wouldn't reach, but in the second round, I like this guy. I feel like I'm looking at potential. Yeah, everybody have pros and cons. The cons, if they're dropping it, they're not first round, then there must be something. But here's where you have your veteran quarterback, and now you can give him time to actually learn the system and figure things out. Now the Jets don't have a third round pick too, so that might be why I'm reaching as well. Now if you can get this guy in the fourth round, then my next pick in the round 4, the fourth round pick that I'm about to show you, maybe you can find this position that I'm about to pick now in the second round. If you know that you can get Nussmeier. I feel like the Jets need Nussmeier. I feel like he'd be a great match with the Jets. Okay, let me see what my guy of my opinion is talking about. Geno, you need to reach. So you don't have a lot. He don't have a lot of faith in Geno. Okay, so now let's move on. I appreciate you, my opinion. So let's move on to the fourth round. I'm gonna try to speed up a little bit because I'm already over 30 minutes and I didn't want to be that long. So round 4, pick 103 overall. Like I said, if you're the Jets, you can probably reach here and there. I wouldn't reach in the first round, but when the second round comes, you got to get the players who you feel is really high on your list and can make an impact. Don't if you need an offensive guard, don't press it. If they're not there, then don't do it. Now I would press at quarterback. Why? If I feel like a guy in the second, third round, or fourth round is worth it. That's your franchise. That could be your franchise, and now he's gonna be on a contract that's really, really cheap. Kind of like the Russell Wilson effect when he first came in. We picked him at third round. So yeah, that's why I think the quarterbacks, you can possibly find them in the second or third round, and then now you can have value. You can build your team around them, and you want to make sure your defense is tight. So let's go right here. So round 4, pick 103. I'm going with out of University of Arkansas, Julian Neal. Who is Julian Neal? Julian Neal is a cornerback, not a quarter, but a corner defensive back. And of course, I like big defensive backs. I mean, when I say big, I mean tall with size, because now your wide receivers are getting big, and also some wide receivers are small. So you have that length out there. They can make interceptions. They can bat the ball down. He's 23 years old. He's coming out, like I said, the University of Arkansas. He's an Arkansas Razorback, and he was born out of California, so he used to playing against great quarterbacks. That's what you call your quarterback state. That's where Tom Brady and all the legends out there are from. They're from the Sunshine City, as they say, California. That's where they're from. That's where you find them. So that would be Julian Neal. Julian Neal. Okay, that's the round 4. That's the fourth round, pick 103. overall. And now we're going to go to the 5th round. Going to the 5th round, and we're going to pick. We're going to go to their 140th pick overall. So let me get that off the screen. Round 5. And this is a 140th pick overall. 140 for the Jets. Here we go. So where am I going, and who's going to be selected right there? Okay, he comes from the ACC. And his name is Damon Claiborne. And guess what? This is a steal. This will be an absolute steal. You got, the Jets have Brees. Can you imagine this? And I feel like this is one of the best. I think he's so underrated. You look up the highlights. This guy can go, man. His stats are going to blow you out the water. So this is Damon Claiborne, 22 years old, out of Wake Forest. He's 5'10", 194. Let's go to ESPN. I want you guys to see what he did. 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns, in the season. So you're getting him in the 5th round. He almost got 1,000 yards. He's 970 yards, 179 carries. So what is that? 5.1 average per carry. That's value. That's great value. So, you can't beat that. So that's a great pick, in my opinion. Okay, let's go to round 6. Round six. And in round 6, it will be what? 179th pick overall. So let me revise that. Or not revise. Let me put this in here. It's not a revision. So there you go. The Jets, round 6. Who will I pick? He's out of Michigan. Out of the University of Michigan. So I had Ohio State. It should be an interesting locker room. I got Ohio State, 2 Ohio State guys, and now I'm going with the Michigan guy, a Wolverine. And this is a linebacker named Jimmy Rolder. Jimmy Rolder, R with an R, R-O-L-D-E-R, like holder, Rolder. Jimmy Rolder, 6'2", 240. He had 2 sacks, 47 solo tackles, 1 interception. And I think highly of Michigan defense. I know they're going, through it with some of the things that transpired there. But, overall, they had a great defense. They have had a pretty good defense here for the past three seasons. And I think this will be a steal. This is right down Aaron Glenn's alley. He's a defensive-minded coach. And also, just being in the state of Michigan, coaching the Lions, he's probably familiar with some of those defensive guys over there at Michigan. And so don't think that he don't know all those players over there, because typically when you're in a certain state, it's really easy to kind of scout these guys. So yeah, he might have some roots over there, man. So Jimmy Rolder, round 6, 179th pick. That's who I'm taking for the Jets. Got 2 more picks in the 7. These are 7-round picks coming up. So round 7. And this is pick 228. So the 228th pick for the Jets. I'm going in the state of Illinois. His name is J.C. Davis. out of University. What is that? Is the did I say that right? University of Illinois. Yeah, I think I got that right. Sometimes you don't know where to say University of Illinois or Illinois University. Yes, the University of Illinois. I just wanted to make sure. So J.C. Davis, he is a offensive tackle, and you know what? And I feel like this is where I feel like you get some pretty decent. I feel like the depth is not great at offensive line. So if you miss the third and fourth round, really the second round, everybody else, you know, sometime in the drafts you have tendency of looking. It's kind of like buying a car. Like if you see in the third round a player who's kind of similar to a player who's dropping to a seventh round, like a lot of players, and there's like really no, like the stock market is not where it shoots up and you get high value. If it's kind of like a slight, like a real light value, then I wouldn't really press it. I would just go with the guy and wait to the 6th or 7th round, and maybe even undrafted. You know, I would get them as an undrafted free agent. You can sign a lot of them. Then that way, if they are hitting talent, or they are great, and they end up surprising you, guess what? They come on a cheaper deal. And I know the players don't like to hear that. You know, as a former player, I didn't make it to the NFL, but I know they wouldn't want to hear that. But you know, looking at it from a business point of view, that's something I would do. So yeah, I mean that's what. Yeah, I just want everybody to know the offensive line. If you can find an offensive tackle in the 6th round, 7th round, why not take them? Because even if you cut them, it's not going against the cap really. You know, and they're very inexpensive doing the 6th round and 7th round. A lot of players that really, you know, see themselves getting drafted high don't like to be picked in the 7th round. They'd rather just be an undrafted free agent, just for the ones out there, if you want to really know that. So, yeah, that's who I would pick, round 7, pick 228. Now, the last pick for the Jets, and I'm going to repeat this, because I forgot to put it up on the board. So Jets, round 7, pick 228. I'm going with J.C. Davis out of the University of Illinois, offensive tackle. Okay, just to summarize that draft pick. Okay, now last pick Jets, and then I'm gonna try to see, you know, what these guys are saying. I don't see any comments, so that's cool. That'll allow me to get this done really fast. So round 7, pick 193. Put that on the screen. And who am I going with the last pick for the Jets? He's out of Texas Tech, a Texas Tech player. That's where Mahomes is from. So, but this is a wide receiver, Caleb Douglas. So let me repeat that. So Jets, round 7, pick 193. I'm going with Caleb Douglas, wide receiver at Texas Tech. I like his size. He's 6'4", 210. So that means in the NFL, probably about 2 or 3 years, he'd probably be 220 pounds. So you'll have somebody looking similar to Julio Jones, maybe, or like, I want to say the Megatron, but Megatron is 6'5", almost 6'6". So yeah, I would say more like he probably is not as big as Julio Jones as far as the muscle mass, but I believe he could put on another 10 pounds. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm forecasting, like looking in 3-4 years when I draft a player. And now we have a wide receiver in the 1st round, and I think they should get a wide receiver, you know, in the 7th round, somewhere in the 6th or 7th round, and find that hidden talent. This could possibly be your number 3, number 2 overall in the future, and now you got him in the 7th round. That's high value to me, you know. And also playing with Geno Smith, a veteran quarterback. I felt like that'll be a great move too. You know, to pick this way you want to pick your younger wide receivers so they can learn under him, and also they can gel with the rookie quarterback as well. You know, so it kind of allowed them to learn the game like a quarterback too. You know, having those veterans in there. That's why it's so important to have a veteran quarterback. Yep. So that is it. That's it, guys. I don't see any comments. I will kind of scan and go through all of them. You know, right here, where do you see the? I have this for the Jets fans. What should the Jets do at number 2, the number 2 overall pick? That's for you guys to come, you know, put in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe and all that too. And thumb down, thumb up, whatever. I mean, it still helps. It helps. My opinion said they can really clean up in the draft if they are smart. Yeah, they have a lot of draft picks, kind of really similar to the Raiders. We already went over that. I already showed that. Said they can't have our guy. Which one is your guy? He might be gone. Who is our guy? I don't know what he's talking about. Okay, so yeah, we already went over that. So that's it. That's it. That's it. That is that's the Jets. That's my take on what the Jets need to do as far as going over the free agents. Let me find something to send you guys off. The fans that say Jets, Jets. That's what the fans say, man. They got some motivated fans, and they're very vocal in New York. So I know what New York, man, you got to hit on it, because if not, the fans are gonna let you. They're gonna let you know.